We have a new featured location coming to Marvel Snap tonight. It'll appear 40% more for 2 days. Quantum Tunnel. When you play a card here, swap it with a card in your deck. And I have found personally that this is the best time to climb. When players use decks that complement featured locations, they have a significant advantage over players that don't bother with featured locations. Now, my theory is to find decks that work with or without the location so you can still win matches when there is not the featured locations, but when the featured location is there, you have a significant advantage. So I feel like this location absolutely screams Lockjaw. When you play a card here, swap it with a card in your deck. And so we're going to go over several decks that will do well with this location. A lot of them are going to be Lockjaw decks, but really any inexpensive card, specifically an inexpensive card that has an on-reveal ability, it'll do very well. For example, Iceman. Give a random card in your opponent's hand, +1 cost, dip out, go into your deck and pull a bigger card, and maybe the bigger card will have an on-reveal effect as well. Another very effective on-reveal card is going to be Scorpion. I think that's going to be great. Also, a card like the Hood. You know, you drop it, it disappears into your deck. You don't have that -2 lying around, and now you have a demon, or, 1/6 in your hand, and that's going to be very good. Also true for Mr. Negative. It would be better if he just disappeared, right? And out of your deck came an inverted card. I think that'd be great. Also, Thanos with his stones, I think will be amazing with this particular featured location. So we've got a couple deck builds, 4 best decks that I think are going to be, and these are the decks that I'm going to be trying. First one right here is just a standard Lockjaw deck. And so the idea is that you have Wasp, Iceman, Sunspot, Scorpion, typically to place on top of Lockjaw, and then all kinds of fun things will come out of your deck. Interesting, Lady Thor right here can also retrieve Wasp and Mjolnir if you play Thor first. And then there's, of course, some big baddies like Infinite and Magneto and Doom in there as well. Another deck that I want to try right away is going to be a MODOK deck, and this particular deck right here uses Lockjaw as well. I think that ideally with Lockjaw on this deck, normally you want to use Colleen Wing to discard the swarms, and they come back into your hand at a 0 cost, and then you can place the swarms on top of Lockjaw. So turn 2, Colleen, which discards the swarms, and then you play the swarms on top of Lockjaw. Or if you just have the swarms, you can play it into that location. It works the same way. And then we've also got a Hela build. These cards keep cycling through the location or the Lockjaw. A lot of cards are going to be discarded, and then when Hela appears, then she's going to revive all of them. That looks like a lot of fun. Seems super random. And then the last deck that I'm going to try, and this is probably the one I want to try the most, is going to be a Thanos Lockjaw deck. So I think this is going to be an interesting location. I think a lot of people will be able to take advantage of this location using Lockjaw style decks. I'm also curious to see what people will do when they have Lockjaw and the featured location. Will they do it twice and run through their entire deck? I think a lot of interesting situations will come. Also, we got notice from the developers that there's going to be some sort of booster magnet on the horizon. I know when you get a new card, sometimes you want to upgrade the rarity of it quickly to bring it to whatever border that you prefer. And yes, the developers confirmed that on the next patch, they're going to make booster targeting easier. And I'm curious to see how that plays out. This right here is a little bit of a controversial post, and I just want to read it about MMR. I can understand players' frustrations for sure. And I also wanted to provide some solutions, maybe if you're struggling with a similar situation as this post. The way MMR works really takes all the fun out of this game. To start things, if you weren't aware that the MR in question, basically after you reach Series 3, your collection level and rank won't matter that much anymore. And that's mostly MMR then. And I believe that happens at 600. I don't know what the threshold is, 594 or 600. You're just kind of thrown to the wolves, and you're thrown to the wolves with everybody that is pool 3 complete, or have more access to pool 3 cards, or just players that have played the game longer. And some people, of course, have sped up their process and spent money for sure. And it's mostly MMR then, because that your rank doesn't matter and it's just a meaningless number because you aren't matched against similar rank. At 40, you can already face infinite players, which shouldn't be possible at all since it makes rank look like a joke then. I'll take their word for it. I'm not sure. I know that when you're at 70, you absolutely face infinite players. To make things work, if you perform too well, the game will punish you for it. On the other side, the game throws you bone when you're losing. I feel like the game is targeting players to have a 53% win rate. And if you win too much, they pair you up against higher MMR players. If you're not winning enough, then they throw you a bone. And I feel like they throw you a bone maybe with a bot that is bad. And it feels like everybody's targeted to have a 53% win rate. And you say, how is that possible? Well, bots. That's how it's possible. Last season, I made it to rank 90 fast. Like in a week, I climbed from 70 all the way to 90. That boosted my MMR so much that I barely can't climb this season since I won't stop seeing Series 5 cards. I see more Galactus in Tuesdays than a whole week last season. Right now, I'm at rank 58. Every time I start climbing, the MMR kicks in and I face some infinite players. Yes, even players that are infinite already. It totally destroys the meaning of rank when the rank barely represents anything and a hidden value determines your real rank. I'm not saying I can't climb, because I can climb. It's just incredible, tedious, and unfun facing top meta decks with Series 5 cards at a lower rank. And I do want to say that there is no substitution for just playing the game a lot. The first time I hit Infinite, I did well over 1,600 games. It just was very time consuming. I think that there are 3 top tier decks, and some of them do not use rank 5 cards. The Galactus one does for sure. Now, some of you may ask how I know MMR is there. Unlike the tinfoil theories of deck-based matching, which totally could be made possible, but that is not the case. The devs themselves admitted that there's an MMR. That's just true. You can test it yourself. When you're on a losing streak, the game throws you a bone, and you get the opposite that are really hard to lose against. When you are losing enough, it really gets difficult losing. So try it out. Simply throw a few games and suddenly you get 8 cube games left and right. The thing is I think that there are 3 top tier decks right now. The first one is Deathwave, and Deathwave does not run any Series 4 or any Series 5 cards. Unfortunately, it does have a lot of Series 3 cards, and most of them are not interchangeable, like Arrow and She-Hulk and Death. You really just need those cards. In fact, I've been running a counter meta to this deck. This was a deck that I ran today, and I was able to climb from 107 to 109, and I will be making a video about it. But there is going to be a leech meta right now, and being flexible and being able to adapt to what is dominant. Right now, I'm seeing a ton of MODOK decks, a ton of Deathwave decks, and this is a good counter to it, and I had good success in climbing today. Another deck right here is a deck that does use a Series 4 card, Shuri. The Sauron version, I believe, is more consistent, but is absolutely optional. I had tremendous success running this build right here if you do have Shuri. And then lastly, this was a deck that I ran a couple days ago, and it did absolutely fine without any Series 4 and Series 5 cards. There are players making it to Infinite with these types of decks. The one deck out there that is super exclusive with Series 5 cards is Galactus, and I find that playing against Galactus decks is somewhat predictable, and you just retreat and you take your 1 cube loss or your 2 cube loss, and the idea is not to give those Galactus players either 4 cube wins or 8 cube wins at all. So I hope that information is helpful. I'm still genuinely convinced that your deck influences your matchmaking. Yes! Oh my God, yes! It does. I don't care what they say. The developers have tried to say that matchmaking is not based off your deck. I don't see how that is not true. Just switch to an Agatha deck if you feel like it, and you see the weirdest decks when you play an Agatha deck. There's something up with this system that they're not telling us, but it feels like when you change decks, you see either a counter to your deck, or you see mirror matches, or when you use kind of like a clunky off-meta deck, then you see clunky off-meta people, but then when you use a top tier net deck build, then you see all the top tier decks. Absolutely. I also feel that I have to flush out the system. Like until I play like 10 to 20 matches, I feel like I see a lot of mirrors, a lot of hard counters, a lot of similar decks. But once I get through a certain threshold, maybe 10 or 20 matches in, then I start seeing like normal, reasonable matchmaking. And I 100% believe this. Absolutely. Also, public service announcement, no confirmation step for bundles like that 2000 gold Daredevil bundle. There is no confirmation. I thought this was a funny meme right here where they're like, me trying not to accidentally buy anything while scrolling down the shop page to get my free credits. It makes me actually not want to have more than 2000 gold in my inventory at any time, because what if you accidentally spend it? They seem to have a no refund policy. I haven't personally firsthand experienced that, but it seems terrible. Lady looks so good in red. I don't want to upgrade her. When will we be able to choose the border color we want when we reach infinity? I think that is an excellent suggestion. And then I don't know if you saw the Guardians of Galaxy trailer, which came out, I believe, on the Super Bowl. First time ever seeing this good boy and being happy about it. Aww. This game has ruined my Cosmo experience. Okay. So, well, now it's time for the giveaway. I really hope you liked today's video, because if you did, you are in luck. For every single person that liked this video, you will be getting for free in your account a crying Tobey Maguire Spider-Man variant. This is not a scam. Yeah, I think that would be fun. I do think that's fun. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and happy deck playing with the new featured location. The MCU Cosmo's a girl, actually. That's true. That's true. She's a girl. Good girl. Good girl.